Bro, the fact that you bragged about those shoes all morning and that's what you wore to the show.
These are hard.
Crazy to me, dog.
Why you got
These ain't hard.
They're okay, but you bragged about them like you was bringing out something. Actually, they're not. They low-key trash.
It's just that back in the day, you know how something back in the day come out and it was
Bro,
dope?
the Scarface?
But Freddie T, honestly, like we're in a stage in life where either you need to have white Air Force energy or black Air Force energy. There is no in-between energy between
that's
two
what
shoes.
you want to do. See,
He mixed though.
Then
I'm
stop.
a businessman, but I can go black too. If you want to go black, I can go black.
Hold up, limitless, take a stomach cap, pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision, I can trust. Limitless, take a stomach cap, pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision, I can trust. Limitless, take a stomach cap, pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up.
We gotta start the show, dog. Like, what you eating?
Let me get one of those.
Man, the Snickers, man. You want Freddie?
Yeah. You
Man,
gonna
I
hog?
think
Why you
Snickers,
hogging
man.
the Snickers though?
Get you right.
How get you right? And get you right to do what?
Man, back. Whatever you doing, the Snickers gonna get it better. I used to do it, man. I'd be sleeping. You be in the meeting sleeping. Snickers get you going. You a little hungry, Snickers get you going. I've been eating Snickers for years, man. You can go to the house. I'm eating me a
You ever try to freeze it?
Why do people, if you freeze a Snicker, apparently, like, they're great. I know people who just like the top of the Snickers and love to eat that. And
The
then
nougat.
the nougat, no, not the nougat, the piece on the top. And Snickers actually made one that was like that you could buy. It had the whole thing.
Like this?
He don't eat. You know,
that boy eat something though. That joker huge.
You know why, Chad? The NIL money different now. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Good time to be alive.
hey, when we used to go back to the room after the game, you was on oodles and noodles.
Now we got
Jay eats steak.
Them jokers know about crabs and steak and lobster.
They had us eating the bottom of the Snickers. We just bite through the bottom.
Well, welcome to the show, man. We're excited to be here. For the three of us, being in Tuscaloosa sort of makes us itchy.
I feel
You know,
understand.
there was a lot that's going on bad for me in this place, but getting an opportunity, man, to watch you play, especially the ascension throughout last year, it was truly amazing to see just the way you handled yourself as a man. Like, when people look at Jalen Milroe, it definitely goes far beyond just football, and I wanted to say that before we started. This is Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder. I'm Ryan Clark. Thank you guys for joining Pivot, a part of Fanatics, and Pivot fam, we appreciate you always pivoting with us. I mean, everybody knows who you are now, but I want to take you back to last season when there were questions about who Jalen Milroe was. Not the man, but the player. Talk to me about standing on the sideline in the rain after throwing 2 interceptions against the Texas Longhorns in a loss, watching the other 2 quarterbacks in the quarterback room play the position against South Florida. What were the emotions like that day? Because you were so supportive as a guy who knew that it wasn't going to be his day to lead his team.
I think ultimately it fell back to uncontrollables and controllables in that process, right? And one thing that I try to reflect on is the family acronym. And when it comes to football, forget about me, I love you. At the end of the day, we had a task when we went on the road, which was to win. You know, no matter who was in the game, the QB1, right? Despite any challenges, despite any hardship, despite any tension that took on during the week or through, you know, the process of getting us to that game, we had a task, which is to go 1-0, which is to win that game, right? And so with the knowledge that I've had, you know, of course, you know, there was hardship prior to going to that game. I had knowledge, right? I played against Texas, I played against Middle Tennessee. So I had enough knowledge to try to pour into the guys in the room, right? Of guys that didn't lack experience on the field and give them the information that, you know, I've had on the football field, right? And I just fall back to controllable, uncontrollables. I can control, you know, how someone views me or the playing time or when I go back on the field, but I can control how great of a teammate I was. My number was called or not, I just try to prepare the same way. But when it came to that game, it really just came down to controllables, and I control, my attitude, my approach, my passion for my teammates, and I just try to display that as much as possible.
Jay, the ups and downs of, because you've been in college, that's your fourth year, and those ups and downs coming out the game, like you're talking about. Then I played for Saban too. We're gonna tell some stories here in a second. I'm gonna ask you. I need some stories, but just those ups and downs, and I think it's that microscope on you, and even hearing you talk in that first answer, like y'all understand it more than we did. But the emotional roller coasters that y'all run, who's there for you to be able to get through that as a young dude?
I think that's a really good question because I'm truly firm on family and your supporting system, right? And I'm big on faith, right? And I reflect on that as much as possible as I go on this journey of life, right? And I know that when hardship comes, I know I have a great support system around me, right? I know that I can't do something by myself. I don't believe in the word self-made. I truly don't. I believe it takes a team, it takes a village, it takes a group of people that are like-minded, also smarter than you, to get you along a process. And that's something I try to reflect on when it comes to being a college athlete and being in the microscope that I am, being a quarterback at University of Alabama. It's not an easy task. But with that, I can say that I can remain grounded, humble, appreciative of the opportunity because of who I surround myself with. And so to answer your question, who I surround myself with, my parents are awesome. They are involved with everything, right? Since I've been in college, they haven't missed one game. No matter if I started or did not start. My first year started with last season. That didn't change anything, how they viewed me, how much they loved me, how much they supported me at all, right? They came to everything. They haven't missed no scrimmage. They missed anything growing up, right? And it don't matter if they haven't got no sleep or no sleep, how their week was, no matter if they had a bad week. Their great moments was being around their son, right? And I didn't truly appreciate that so much until I left for college. And because, I've been in the house, all my life. And then transition going to college made me really appreciate my parents and how much they poured into me and how much they loved me, supported me, no matter how much touchdown I throw. Because guess what? When I got bench get texted, my parents still love me the same way. Love me. I'm the same Jalen Milroe that I threw 2 interceptions and forever statistic that I had that same game. They still love me when I went to USF. After the USF game, my dad was the first one to greet me after I left that locker room after that game, gave me a big old hug. And he was nothing but smiles after that game because at the end of the day, he loved me, right? And he also acknowledges that we're gonna go on this path together. He feels my pain, right? Any pain that I've had with playing a quarterback position, any pain of going on this process of playing a quarterback position, my dad feels that, right? He still to this day, he might not admit to this, but even the night before a game, he don't sleep.
Which is
And he's nervous.
Yeah, he's nervous.
that's something you mentioned your parents, whether they sleep or not, but that's something they're used to with their military background.
Right.
Having met in the military. How did the discipline that they learned from being in the military and instilling that in you, how was your upbringing? Like, what sort of structure that you give them the most credit to?
I'll say they definitely have impacted my life with their background of being in the military. Just key points of just having military parents, being detail-oriented. Any goal that I have, set it as far as long-term, short-term goal that you want to accomplish, and also being disciplined, right? And I think that correlates to my life so much because that are some things that separate you from being great and good in a sense. And I can just truly say that, with having goals set, that gives you a sense of direction that you can follow, a sense of joy along a process because you're working towards something. And I'll say my parents, they as much as they, love me and appreciate me, they helicopter parents. They involved with everything. They want to be a part of everything, every decision, everything that comes with it. If I'm buying some pair of shoes, they want to make the decision if I'm going to purchase it with my card to this day. But they awesome. They're big on setting goals, being self-driven. Also another thing too is that they can want it so much for me, but I gotta want it for myself, right? And so going on this process of playing football, My dad was so passionate about me playing the quarterback position, so passionate about me playing the position. I love football. I love everything about it, but he told me that I can't want it more than you. My mom mentioned it to me. We can't want it more than you. You got to want it yourself. And so that's why I mentioned the self-driven. You got to be self-driven. So those are some key things that I've learned from my parents with their military background.
The college football playoff, you talked about you just now said you talked about wanting to play the quarterback position. You're passionate about that position. And you have a skill set that says, if I look at you, you can play other positions. You are fast, you are strong, you are explosive. So the common mind goes, well, if he can't play quarterback, we can use him somewhere else. Now, the mind of a doubter, of a naysayer, right, would say though, he should play another position. You had Bill O'Brien tell you should play another position. Recently, we had Tua Tagovailoa come out and say, if someone told you that you sucked every day, how would you feel? Mm-hmm. That would make you think you sucked. You said you had someone tell you that you sucked. What was it about you that didn't allow what someone else's perception of you was to change your perception of yourself?
What made it so true was that no one's opinion is my reality, right? And I always reflect on my childhood through these moments, and I always look back into the little me. What would he think of me right now? Initially, when I started playing the game of football, it was an opportunity for me and my dad to build a relationship with each other. I didn't really see it as something I would in the future, right? I saw it as an opportunity for me and my dad to have a relationship with each other because at the end of the day, throughout the whole day, my dad at work. So by the time I get home, he tired, right? But we had an opportunity to go on the football field and, throw the ball around and just, we working out, we getting our grind on, but it was an opportunity for us to build a relationship with each other. And why I mentioned this story of me and my dad being around each other at a young age, because I never forget, one day we were working out and we stopped working out. He said, Jalen, come here. I said, I get up to my dad and he said, I'm gonna ask you this question. Do you want to play the quarterback position? In my head, I'm like, yeah, like I want to play the quarterback position. I'm smiling, but he was serious. Like, do you really see yourself playing the quarterback position? And I said it to him again. Yes, I do. He said, okay, let me explain to you why I'm asking you this question. There's gonna be hardship with you playing the position. There's gonna be times where you might want to think about giving up. There's gonna be times where you feel as though that no one believes in you. There's gonna be times where you're gonna get weary in the process, but you have to be self-driven, you gotta be passionate about playing a position, and you gotta love the game of football. If you feel as though you can do that, let's continue this workout. So in my head, I'm young, right? So I'm like, it's dad being dad, right? It's dad being dad in that moment. As I got older, I always reflect on that moment because I'll say that there was past experiences that allowed me to be so strong in the moments where people doubted me when I got older with playing the position. And when it came to getting to college, when it came to embracing scrutiny, embracing the challenge of not being, people believing in me, I already had these moments growing up. And I just reflect on just my childhood of my makeup, my DNA makeup. I don't look, like the normal quarterback, which is okay. We're all unique in our own way. Everybody, no matter what position you play, you might look unique in your own way. And I knew that I can embrace myself and I'm okay with who I am as a person. And it didn't come from comments of Bill O'Brien, comments of coming to college. It came from my childhood of having a great pops who was supportive, that strengthened me each and every day, faith, falling back on faith, and just having a great support system. So therefore, when it comes to hardship of scrutiny, hardship of, doubt of playing the position, I was okay because I already had my, self-motivation and just had a great support system.
And talked to Caleb Williams, been on the show, Jaden Daniels, all the young black quarterbacks and just young players now. Yeah. Y'all boys be rich in college. And what rich, we didn't get money until we got to the we ain't had no real money until we got in the league. But just that dynamic, and you speak about your parents, but you're a teenager really with money. You're a young in the early 20s with that money. Is it tough to still I would say, you give me $1 million, man, my daddy can't tell me to go to sleep at night. Red, you better sit your old ass down over there. Just that struggle, having strong parents and having good parents, and my mom was there for me, but having so much, I guess, financial stuff, so much attention, so much, national, national spotlight on you, but also having that rooted faith and everything you're speaking about. Was it a struggle at all? Was it any pull back and forth inside of you?
I gotta credit my parents because there was nothing I wanted growing up. Everything was provided for me. I had clothes. I had everything that I wanted to growing up. So therefore, when it came to having this money now in college, I didn't know what to do with it. Because I had everything I needed growing up. I had great parents. Like, I don't have the normal childhood. I didn't lack anything. I didn't lack anything growing up, and I embraced that, and I'm appreciative of that, and I always forever thankful of them and how they paved the way for me. Because at the end of the day, when it's time for me to provide for my own family one day, it's gonna come off the reflection of my parents and how they provided for me, And so, to answer your question, of course, it's a new dynamic to NIL and how you can benefit from yourself, and I definitely have benefit from NIL, and I'm truly appreciative now that players are all able to now benefit, with y'all guys paving the way. So I appreciate y'all. Boy.
Man, let me hold $10. There you go.
That's easy. We can do that. We can make that happen. Yeah. But I am, and blessed to be in the situation I am today. But I can just say that I don't have a want in the world just based off my parents, just them taking care of me growing up.
You are giving me Adrian Peterson mannerisms all over the place. Plus, y'all kind of built the same. But other than that, I think you're amazing at what you do at the quarterback position, first and foremost. So continue to follow your heart right there. Coming up in Texas, Houston, I'm sure you had dreams of going to UT. This is how they do it, right? UT.
Yeah.
When you had to switch your commitment to come to Alabama, did that hurt when you decided to go to Bama?
I'll say the recruiting process was a difficult decision because my dad said this to me, is that you sacrifice these next 4 years, you get to your next 40 years, right? That you don't see right now. But that big decision, it's all about sacrificing everything now so you can get everything you want in your future. And that was the thought process I had when it came to the recruiting process, right? NIL wasn't implemented in the recruiting process, right? It wasn't there, right? So it was truly off of, of course, the university and, how you can benefit and all, the logistics of it, all a bunch of stuff that was incorporated with deciding on the team. But it definitely was a decision that was something I try to truly, think out and try to, learn as much as possible through the recruiting process. But when it came down to the decision to decommit from Texas, it was a difficult decision. But once I made my mind up that I want to go to University of Alabama, I was at ease.
Right.
And I feel as though I made the best decision for myself. And ultimately, when it came down to the decision, it's all about sacrifice everything now to get everything you want in your future. And I feel as though truly it was the best decision I was able to do because I was able to leave the state of Texas and branch out in my own wings, right? Be away from my family, develop into a man. I was a boy, and so I was able to go on my own, live my own. Talk about self-driven. I got to get up on my own. I don't have my mom, set an alarm, coming up, waking me up in my bed, right? I got to be self-driven to learn my plays, go on my play. My mom, pop's not with me. Of course, when I was back home with him, we would study, football and stuff like that. But now I'm self-driven. I got to, go to the facility on my own. I got to wake up early. I got to eat the right things, right? And while you're gone, this is my first time away from home. Once I go to college, I fall back in a sense of level of training. With me being with my parents, they paved the way in what right looks like. So therefore, when I got to college, everything was at ease for me because of, how they paved the way. So, back to your question about, decision of, flipping from UT and going to Alabama. Although it was a hard process initially, I feel as though I was at ease once I made a decision.
Fanatics Sportsbook is where fans play on game day because we reward loyalty 10 times more than the leading sports books. When you bet with us, win or lose, you get up to 10% fan cash back on your bet. This is the most rewarding sportsbook.
It was like choosing Nick Saban over being Vince Young, though. Yeah. I would have to imagine being a kid in Texas, and obviously you were so young when Vince Young played, but that sort of legend, if I'm recruiting you at Texas, I'm saying, hey, you come here and do the same thing. But I know when you get on the phone with Nick Saban, it's a different deal. But speaking of coach, his last game was obviously versus Michigan. That comes down to, I'm sure, everything you always want. Put the football in my hands and give me an opportunity to go win it. That game doesn't go your way. And you don't normally show negative emotions when I look at you. You know, you seem to have poise in those moments. But I could see the visible hurt walking off of that field. What was going through your mind as you headed to the locker room after that game?
So I had two emotions walking off the field, okay? The first emotion is immediate result off of that play, right? Of course, you know, our season over with. You know, we acknowledge that our season is over with, right, initially. Like, that's the motion that's flying in my hand, right? The ball's in my hand, the last play, right? The only person that can feel my pain is me and the OC. He called a play, I had to execute the play. So there's only me and him that acknowledge the pain, right? There's no one that was on the field that could have changed anything that happened besides me, in that sense. You know, that's going through my head, right? Can I have done something better? There's a lot of elements in that game. Can I have made a better read? Should I have checked that ball down? Should I have protected the football a little more? Should I have? It's so much that's going on through my mindset as the game is over with, right? And you do that when you reflect when it's all over, when it's gone, when it's taken away from you. So that's my initial thought process when they're walking off the field, is that it's so much passion that's in the game of football, so much passion. And what people fail to remember is that we had to prepare for that opponent. So there's so much poured into that. Sleepless nights, barely getting any sleep. When I'm in California, I barely got any sleep 'cause I'm preparing for this opponent. I'm trying so hard so that I can do anything, my best of my ability to play at the high level, preparing for Michigan, right? And it was unfortunate, you know, we lost, you know, they won the national championship, proud of them, happy for them. So that was my initial, you know, reaction, my initial feelings towards that, right? As I got to the locker room, although I was, you know, slanted down, my head down, I rose up because I was appreciative in the moment. The last play of the game, the last play to, you know, determine our season in a sense, to allow us to move forward, the ball was in my hands. So that means they trusted me, right? Coach Saban trusted me, the whole state of Alabama, everybody trusted me with the football in my hands, because we're looking at a negative aspect of it. What if I scored in that play? That was a great play, that was the best play call ever. Great play call. That was a great play call by Coach Reese, and we'll be cheering, right? And so that's hindsight, but I saw it as two moments where I was appreciative of Coach Saban. I'll never forget, man, like after the game, of course, emotions and flying stuff like that, but I told Coach Reese, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, because everyone trusted me with the football in my hand. And one thing that I do reflect on, I remember, is that once we broke that play and went to the line of scrimmage, we broke it and went to the line of scrimmage, there was no flinching in anybody's eyes. Nobody flinched. Nobody said, "No, why are we playing that play call?" Like nobody flinched at all. And so it's a part of the game. It's all about risk, taking risks. That's what the game is about. So I had two emotions, you know, walking off that field.
And you bring up Saban too. Saban drafted me in 2005 when he went to Miami.
Yep.
Saban, you know, I can't say he's my boy. I don't know if you can say Saban's your boy, but like that when Saban leaves, and nowadays y'all can jump around. Y'all can play 2 games here, 2 games there. Y'all boys nowadays jump around. But how was that knowing, because you went to Alabama to play for, and he's an amazing coach now. He used to tell me what's about to come. He would tell me, hey, they're going to motion. Come here. They're going to motion to trips. They're going to throw the ball backside on the screen. If they don't think you can tackle their fucking body, and I don't think you can. That's how he talks to you. And they motion the trips, and I'd be like, oh, he just told me they about to throw the screen backside. I just go make the tackle and be good to go. But playing for Saban and knowing that greatness, and then now him leaving, and you that guy, like when did you find out that it was a turnover and DeBoer, now he's doing his thing, but like, what was the thought process when that whole process was going on?
Of course, you know, going back to everything that transpired once Coach Saban retired, I was unaware that he was going to retire, but I do acknowledge why he retired, and I understand why he retired, and I am so happy for him, because, you know, as athletes, we talk about life after football. What about life after coaching? You know, there's so much life that he can experience and he can enjoy now that he's done coaching the game of football. You know, he loves football, right? And he's able to talk, you know, in the broadcasting realm of football and talk about something that he loves. You know, so always supportive of Coach Saban, and now that his new life, his life after coaching that he now got to experience. It was tough initially. Coach Saban was a key impact on that. And then for me, I go from, this is my head coach for, you know, 3 years, and so now transition my senior year, transition to Coastal Board, right? And so there's a lot of external factors when it comes to what was going on and stuff like that. But I always got to reflect on goals. My goals don't change based on a coach retiring, a coach, you know, leaving. I had multiple OCs being in college. And so you got to reflect on something that can get you back into your mindset, your approach to the game of football, and that's something I try to do during that process. I didn't want to make an emotional decision leaving Alabama. I didn't want to do something that I eventually regret, and then I also did not lean on my own understanding. I try to reflect on my faith, and I try to reflect on my family and people that I can trust with what was the best decision for myself. And so when it came down to staying or leaving, all that, I just was grounded. I just wanted to stay at Alabama, and truly, I had unfinished business. Unfinished business with losing in the Rose Bowl, and so now transitioning and flipping the page from 2023 to 2024. I consider Coach Saban retiring in 2023. And when it was time to move forward, that's when I was saying that's 2024. This is our team. This is our group of men that's going to take the field when it comes to game one, whenever game one is. And so I think it truly took time to reflect. It took time to be around people that were uplifting, because it was definitely a...
Okay, Jalen, I don't mean to cut you off. Time out, bro. All right, listen. We got to act like the camera's off at some point. I need the non-manicured, the non-Heisman hopeful, finished sixth in Heisman voting. I don't want that dude. I want the dude that cussed at the camera after he threw the ball against Auburn in the Iron Bowl in the corner and said, "Give me the effing Heisman." I want the dude who I'm sure, if I was betting on it, replace something else with the word naysayer, right? Because I know it wasn't no way you and Terrion sitting at, come on, me and Chan sitting at the locker. You know what, Chan? Chan, when we go out here, you feel me? I feel like we should let those naysayers know.
They gonna have to let a naysayer know, I see.
The naysayers, I was on the street the other day, and I saw a little naysayer, and I felt like,
Naysayer!
what up? hey, I know. Okay, be honest. I know. Come on now. Come on. This Dylan.
Give him a Snickers. He's not being himself right now.
Hey,
not being yourself right now.
This the unks. Be truthful. How did let naysayer know come about? Be real now. This the pivot.
I get that. So, for everybody watching, let all naysayers know LANK is something that was built in the offseason based off of 2022 season, right? From that season, we had to flip the page on external factors. You know, going into that season, we didn't play to the standard of Alabama football. And so when it came to the offseason, transitioning, trying to prepare, it was all about us and all about the mindset and how we can approach the game, and having doubters, having naysayers when we was approaching the game and things like that. He doubted me right now.
He doubted me, naysayer. How happy was y'all when they gave you naysayer?
Ran with it.
But it is cool though that they did make it sort of the team motto. Yeah. There's I think it was a docuseries, a documentary coming out using that. Obviously, College Game Day had one of the biggest moments of the year, because Pat McAfee was like, "That is not where I thought that was going." But you guys have faced doubters, and I do want to ask you about not the transition of Saban to DeBoer, which we'll get to, but the transition from Bryce Young to eventually Jalen Milroe. Because Bryce Young leaves, and he was phenomenal from the day he threw a pass against Miami to open the season 3 years ago. And then now you get a new offensive coordinator and a transfer from his school, from Notre Dame, also comes in for you to compete against in the spring. Then you have the benching. I know Coach Saban brought you into the office to talk to you and say, okay, this is your team, right? On the way going forward, you will be our starting quarterback. What was that conversation like for you? Did you finally have, I guess, an opportunity to breathe and say, okay, now it's time for Jalen Milroe to put his stamp on what Alabama is?
I say to this day, I don't got time to breathe. Like, me, I never want to get complacent to this day. And as I'm going on this process, as I'm going on the game that I love, which is football, I would never take a great day for granted. And when it comes to approaching the game, I told somebody the other day, I said, the day I stop learning, the day I stop getting better, the day I need to retire. And the day that I feel as though I shouldn't be playing the game of football. Until then, I'm going to keep on pouring into how I approach the game mentally and physically. And so when it came to the decision that, moving forward, I was going to lead the guys moving forward, ultimately it was all about reflecting on the short-term goals and long-term goals that I had prior to the benching, prior to everything that took place, because these goals are already set prior to the transfer coming in, prior to the season even starting. And I have to reflect on the thing that's been done in the dark will always come to shine, right? If you pour nothing but good things to yourself, you reap what you sow. I'm a firm believer in that. I just think that preparation is very key, because preparation allows you to be less anxious, allows you to be less nervous, and it allows you to be free. And that's all it was about when it came to the decision moving forward. It's all about reflecting on your level of training, reflecting on, what makes me unique, not what someone else thinks. Because that's something that's a social norm in society when it comes to athletes, that we have to play to a level of someone else's standard. I'll play to my standard. No one's gonna hold me to a higher standard than myself. And I have to acknowledge that through this process, I'm not a finished product. There's so much more that I can achieve, and that's why it's so exciting to play the game of football, because I truly believe it wouldn't be fun if I knew the outcome of my future or what it was gonna look like. That's why we play the game, of the uncertainty, and that's what makes it fun. We're playing these games. If I knew that this weekend I knew I was going to do what I was going to do, that wouldn't be fun. I like the uncertainty of it, and the adversity aspect of it made me stronger as a person, and I'm forever appreciative of it, because that is a key resource to what makes Jalen Milroe today. And so I think that's how I truly feel.
It's tough being a rookie. Cooper Kupp, when we had him on the show, talked about dropping passes to win games, fumbling on the 2-yard line. The cool part about Snickers is they're sort of running a rookie mistakes sweepstakes. And through going through them, you can win tickets to the Super Bowl in the NO, my hometown. And that's one of the most superstitious spots in the world. But at least if you make the right mistake, you end up at the big game.
Now, I had some rookie mistakes. They tightened me up. Them offensive linemen tightened me up a couple times coming through that B gap too high. So my rookie mistakes, I wish I had a couple more Snickers in me. Maybe I could have lunked it down a little better and been a little more stout.
Now, I'm with you, RC. I'm definitely one of the more superstitious people. And I can tell you, I ate Snickers back in the day before the game. And when I didn't, I felt like I didn't have any energy. I didn't go out there and play well. I'm telling you the truth. I needed my Snickers before the game, man. And they definitely helped me out.
Hey, and listen, Joe Burrow, he says when he was down and out, his mom's made him Snickers salad, which is something I had never heard of, but it sounds fire. We might try when we down at the NO. But go out, man, grab you a Snickers, grab 2 of them, and go to snickers.com/rookie mistakes. That's snickers.com/rookie mistakes. And you might find yourself at the big game too.
But don't forget to let them know, RC. They got to share their rookie mistake on the website. What was that again?
Snickers.com/rookie mistakes.
And the biggest mistake you can make right now is not going to do it. So get up, go do it right now.
I love me some nougat.
All right, man, let's get back to Jay.
Yeah, earlier you said the mindset of unfinished business.
Right,
I think it'll be that way until you decide to retire, be done with football. So keep it that way. We recently did a show about the NFL, the record-breaking start to the new NFL season with 15 black quarterbacks to start the season. How do you look at that, knowing that these guys were the guys before you? And who were some of the guys that played the position that you looked up to, or the guys that inspired you?
I think as a college athlete now, I do have to acknowledge the people that paved the way before me and allowed this opportunity to happen. You know, someone had to sacrifice, someone had to stand proudly on it, you know, on their 10 toes and say that I can do this at some point, you know, in past history. So I'm forever thankful and appreciative of that, you know, and I gotta see everything as an opportunity. And for me, it's all about reflection. You know, there's a lot of guys that paved the way for us as black quarterbacks. And it's steadily getting better. You know, as we look and reflect, was also, you know, evident that took place in recent years that 2 black quarterbacks played against each other in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That just took place. All right, now reflect on, now it's 15 starting quarterbacks. So it's steadily climbing and getting better. You know, there's always room for improvement in a sense, you know. There's always things that's implemented into being a quarterback in the NFL and the power and what it takes to be successful at the position. So what it means to me, it means a lot. It means a lot to have people of that role play to a high standard, because I truly feel as though you have to hold yourself to a high standard. You have to acknowledge and appreciate the position, because it's a unique position. Yeah. In the quarterback position, there's only one person that can take that snap. And there's only one QB1 that takes the field. And so to have that role to lead guys and push them to ultimately be successful is very unique. And so to have, you know, now, you know, 15 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, that only inspires me. And that only makes me feel there's a sense of hope, a sense of pride, and a sense of direction that's set because of the guy that paved the way.
Because quarterback play is not the only characteristic that needs to be done at a high level for a quarterback to be a great leader of a team. What are some of the things you try to do away from the football field to help you become closer to your team and build that sort of chemistry and camaraderie that could lead to a national championship?
Get them Beats by Dre headphones.
I think chemistry is so important, right? Because there's gonna be a point where somewhere down in the season, you have to trust the guy next to you, right? One thing that I try to do this offseason, get to know all my teammates, everyone that's around me, right? Know where they're from, you know, what's their hobbies, what they like to do, and build a relationship, you know, accountability, brother, different things throughout the offseason that just gels us together, right? And I think that was so important to a team aspect of it. And if you look at the team that won national championships, that won Super Bowls, they had a team. And it's hard to beat a team. And I always use the pencil analogy. If I give you one pencil, you're gonna crack it real easily. But the more and more I give you, it's gonna be hard to break those pencils, because it's so hard to stop something that's firm and it's something that's like-minded. And so to answer your question, when it comes to the offseason, I think that's very important. You know, there's no shot clock in the offseason, man. There's so much growth that can be made throughout the offseason that's going to catapult you to be successful whenever the time comes to play an opponent. So just one example, just getting to know my teammates is very important. Understanding them, what are their hobbies, spending time together with them. And that's one thing I wanted to do, was just spend time with my teammates and be around them, you know, understand what they like, dislike, right? And one key resource about leadership, the number one is acknowledging the person that you're dealing with, right? And if I know what my teammate dislikes and what he likes, it's very important to how I can try to influence him, right? Say my teammate's having a bad day. I know what's gonna make him happy. I know what's gonna make him mad, right? There's gonna be a time where down the road at practice, coach is getting on one of my teammates. If I can say one thing that can make them smile, one thing that can bring some joy, some light, it made my day. I had a good day, right? And, you know, I bring it back to what's my goal each and every day. If you ask me what my goal each and every day is, it's to inspire somebody and bring a sense of light to that person's life. That's my goal. Each room that I walk into, I want to be a positive, you know, lighting on that person. And so that's something I just try to do this offseason, just get to know my teammates.
Hey, Chan, if he come to your house to date your daughter, I'd be like, I tell my daughter, look, I need you to go to the back, right? And I'm going to have to bring him in the room and be like, bruh, I'm going to need you to cut this off. I'm going to be like, whatever this is, right? Whatever this is, he the type of guy go for the job interview. So tell me, you know, what's one of your worst attributes? I just care too much.
You know, it's funny. I'm about to ask, but what is your ailment? What do you struggle at? Because Great parents, great. I just want to get everybody together. I need my pencils all wrapped up so they can't split them.
I mean, one pencil is just a number 2. If you get 20 pencil, that's a number 40. You can't break a 40.
But what, like, I would say your face, you're more popular, or your facial recognition is higher than some NFL guys, especially non-quarterbacks.
Here for sure.
Especially in Tuscaloosa. We got to get the hell out of here. When we leaving? Because I want to get the hell out of Tuscaloosa. These people looking at me crazy around here. Why do you play? I don't play shit. Leave me alone. You're famous now, but you're a college student. You're the king of Tuscaloosa. Like, is it a struggle? Can you enjoy yourself? Can you go hang out? Can you just walk down the street and go to the bar? Is it tough?
For me, coming to Alabama was a business decision. I ain't come here to have fun. I came here to take care of business, however long it took for me to get out of here. Like that's truly me. Like I wanted to absorb everything from University of Alabama. Seek all the information. All the resources I needed to. But ultimately, because like I said, like it was all about sacrifice everything now, so now I can get to the next 40 years. Sacrificing the 4 years of being in college. And so it's definitely a different dynamic being a University of Alabama starting quarterback and all that comes with it. But it gives you more motivation to play on Saturdays because you have such a strong fan base, such a strong networking with, wearing the script A and, putting it on display each and every Saturday. And so, I don't take it for granted. It's definitely something that I always dreamed about, was being a starting quarterback. So now to have this lighting, in a sense, is great, but ultimately, my biggest thing, my biggest goal is just to be successful and just to lead our team to all our long-term goals that we want to accomplish before the season.
Just to continue on that path, you played for a legendary coach in Nick Saban. I mean, we hear about the Bear Bryants and all these other legendary coaches, and our kids, they're going to be talking about, how great Nick Saban was as a coach. Not only that, this program, Alabama Crimson Tide, you guys aren't the only one. Like, they've been dogs back in the day. This is one of the most prestigious college football programs in the history of college football. So just to have the opportunity to play here has to be, I know, above my head. Recently, the guys that leave here to go pro, I just saw an article where Alabama players alone signed over $1 billion in contracts in the NFL. What's the feeling like, though, like to really be, walking around campus? Here you are, you're a graduate. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
By the way, you came in, you handled your business, you got your degree, and now you can just really just focus, on football. What's that feeling like? It has to just feel different, right?
No, absolutely. The feeling of playing at Alabama is hard to describe, right? This is a state where there's no NFL team, there's no major league team, so everything is poured into the university, poured into Alabama, poured into Auburn, poured into, the university in this state. And so I have to mention, for us, I feel as though it's awesome to have our last name on the back of our jerseys, but also have the script A because we're representing the University of Alabama, the state of Alabama, and our families each and every Saturday that we approach the field. It adds motivation to you, when we have workouts. We don't mention it as much, publicly or out, but as players for the University of Alabama, when we train, of course, to achieve our goals, but we want to make our fans happy. When we play on Saturday, when we play at home, like that's our territory. We have a sense of pride when we play at home in front of our crowd, and to put on display the Alabama, whether it's also speaking about Alabama, I truly want to be an ambassador of the University of Alabama, the state of Alabama, and talk about all the great things that the Alabama has and provides for a lot of people in so many ways. So I think, and you can't truly acknowledge it until you experience it as a player, because of course, for me, going through the recruiting process, that, hindsight, all I saw was, how great Alabama was, but I don't know what made Alabama so special. But now having a firsthand experience being in college, I do acknowledge what it takes to be a champion in a sense, and what it takes to, go on this process of striving for excellence.
Having earned your degree already, what's your day-to-day like? Like, you still do classes, you do them online, training most? Like, what do you do on a day-to-day?
Getting my degree was very challenging. Like honestly, I didn't know it was gonna be that difficult. Like just the balance of both football and school work, and getting my business degree. So I was able to achieve that in 3 years. And this past December, I was able to get my bachelor's degree in business management with a concentration in entrepreneurship. And so now I'm on route to get my master's degree with sports management, and now I'm on route to get that in this December. I'll say like it's something that no one can take away. Your degree, no one can take it away, and it's very unique, and I'm the first in my immediate family for my parents to get a degree. So I know how proud they are of me and, my family, just for me to go out to Alabama and take care of business. It's ultimately is a business decision when you go to college. When you, of course, take care of football, take care of school, that's the purpose of going to college. So I just try to, like I mentioned, like every opportunity I have to pour everything into, I'm gonna pour into it. So that's for school and for football.
Right.
Your father was a part of the first wave of individuals to go into Iraq.
Yep.
Does he ever have any conversations with you about that time in his life?
Not necessarily, but he correlates how the things he learned, how it correlates to football, right? When it comes to teamwork, when it comes to hard work, when it comes to determination, when it comes to being self-driven, all the different things that are a correlation between, military and then going into with football. So he tried to do that. I'll never be able to understand, what it's like to be in the role of his, but I do try to, learn from him so much because there's nothing like what he did. Like,
you're in the house. People here will idolize you and make you a hero if you win a Heisman Trophy, if you win an SEC championship or national championship. But you truly grew up with a real life hero. You grew up with a man that showed the ultimate altruism in fighting for him and myself and him, while one day understanding I have to go raise my family. So I just think that's a beautiful thing. Has that sort of upbringing influenced the way that you live life? Not the football part. Mm-hmm. You said, I came here for business. Because when he mentioned, hey, can you go to a bar? My immediate first thought was, he probably doesn't go to bars, right?
That's
when he asked,
fun.
can
That's
you
not fun at all.
And so, does that level of discipline, because I went to SEC school as well, both of these guys did too. And as hard as I played football on Saturdays, at about 12 o'clock, I was still going as hard, right? Mm-hmm. Does that level of discipline make you an oddball here at Alabama?
Absolutely, because people have different goals set for themselves. And for me, I'm not gonna let anyone, no person, take me away from my goals. And I, try to remove myself from anything that's gonna, allow myself to get away from my goals that I've set prior to coming to Alabama. And one thing that's for certain is that trouble is easy to get into, hard to get out of. And so I try to not put myself in that position that I would have to have the words, I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't do that. And that's something I try to live my life with when I'm making these decisions, is not having the mindset of, I wish I didn't, or I wish I did this. I don't try to have the I wish, mindset. And my parents, as much as they are so hard on me growing up and how passionate they were with raising me, I gotta appreciate them because I see what they were talking about to this day. I see why they were the way they were. I understand it. As much as I say yes, no, or just nod my head, I call it the bobblehead effect. Like growing up, I was a bobblehead. Like that's it. I got two military parents. He ain't saying nothing else. Even bobblehead, yes, no. That's it. That's the only conversation you having. And so, as I got older, I started to understand what they were talking about. And so with that, I started to say thank you more. Yeah. And I appreciate you, and I love you. I started to say that way more as I got older, right? And that just came from just the acknowledgement of why, they acted the way they did, and why, ultimately, what they saw, the direction of my life. And so I just, I got to give them credit. I got to give my parents credit for sure.
Hey, off the subject, is Ryan Williams really like that?
Look,
Bro, dude's supposed to still be in high
that's what
school.
I'm saying. He the truth.
You've been around some good ones though.
I
Now,
have.
like when you look
I have.
at the receivers that have been at Alabama, the guys you've played with, some of the guys before you.
Right.
I mean, he's already started this season
Right.
and left his mark. And all people say every time is he still could be in high school.
Right.
He's 17 years old.
Right.
When you look at his level of play with what you've seen, can he be one of the greats that played here?
As his brother, as his teammate, I want that for him so much. But Ryan Williams is going to determine that, right? And I'm going to push him each and every day so that he can achieve that, because my ultimate goal is for Ryan Williams to be the best receiver he can be. Whatever he sees himself, pursuing and achieving, I want him to do that. And I'm his brother. I'm behind him on everything, And one thing I can say about Ryan is that's very unique is that although his age is 17, he's a guy that came in the summertime. He didn't even mid-year, right? And so, in a sense, that sped up his development in a sense of coming and learning the system, getting used to college, coverage recognition. You're not just gonna blow past people. You're gonna have to have coverage recognition. You're gonna have to know who you blocking and the run scheme and different things like that. It's so much to college that is unique, that's different from high school, that you have to be mentally prepared for it. And to see his development in a short period, that's what I truly believe is what separates him, because there's a lot of great receivers in this country, a lot of great receivers somewhere else. But it's how he flipped the page from being a high school 7-year-old to, in a sense, a college 17-year-old, which is much different. Yeah. So I see the growth in him. I see the determination. I see how detail-oriented he is. One thing I ain't told him this, but I guess he gonna know now, that I love what he did was he went in the training room one day, and our head trainer is named Jeff Allen. He went in the training room one day, he said, "Hey, can you put me on the plan that Devontae Smith was on?"
Wow.
I said, oh, he's serious. He's serious. 17, I ain't thinking about that.
Yeah.
So I just showed his mindset and how he trying to approach. Then he came up to me, "Hey, J Mill, we can watch film." "Oh, you wanna watch film?" I bet. "Are you serious?" Then while he was a recruit, he talking about when he gets there, hey, whenever you wanna run routes and catch, let me know I'm there. And this is a guy that lives in Mobile, which is not near Tuscaloosa. It's a couple hours from Tuscaloosa, so he was willing to leave there and come to Tuscaloosa. So it's so much things that people don't know about the guy that makes him special. But I'm just excited for him and his future because he's just so passionate and love the game.
I love that, man.
And bro, what's the LANK? I know what it means. You ain't getting no. But the digital diary series you have going, all your focus and everything's football. Let us know about this venture, I guess you're going into,
Yeah, for sure.
And why are you doing that? Why are you letting the cameras really get into your life?
No, absolutely. I think because we're more than athletes, and to put on display, everything about the athlete will give people a different perspective of that person. And so, my biggest thing is I'm more than an athlete, right? There's so much more to me that people might see on Saturday that they might not know about me. And I feel as though it's a story that's been willing to be told. Some people might not want their story to be told. I'm fine with that because my goal is to influence somebody. My mom told me this when I was younger. She said, the goal in life is not seek blessing, but be a blessing to other people. And so from that point on, I want to be a blessing to someone else because I know there's somewhere in this country where there's a young boy somewhere that's saying, I can't do this, right? I want to be the sense of hope, the sense of determination, the sense of the ability to believe that they can do it based on my story. And if I can touch someone in that way, I did my job, right? This story's not for me. It's for other people to engage and understand me, beyond Jalen Milroe, starting quarterback, University of Alabama, right? There's more to my story. There's more to me that could be told and be heard, and I hope it can influence someone in a positive way.
There's an event happening in Green Bay next year around April 20-something, give or take. How sweet would it be for you to be able to be drafted back home playing in front of your people?
I always think about my family. I always think about every decision I make, everything about my family. And to go back to my roots, represent the state of Texas each and every Sunday will be amazing. It truly would be. It truly would be amazing to do that, and also to have the dream be fulfilled, like to be a quarterback in the NFL. Like that's always been my goal growing up. Just to have the opportunity to play in the NFL, that's such a small percentage of this world that can achieve that. And so whenever that time comes, I'm gonna be so appreciative of the moment, because that's a slim chance. And not too many people can say that I play in the NFL. Like it's power behind that. Like, and I want somebody to truly like understand that if you in the league, bro, like we look up to you. Like as college athletes, high school, no matter what, even grown people, we look up to people that are in that stage, because that's a hard task. You had to go through some hardship at some point. You had to grind. You had to wake up early, stay up late at some point to go on that path of excellence, in a sense of, hope to, achieve that time, or you hearing your name called, even not hearing your name called and being undrafted, just to have the opportunity to be in the NFL, that would be a dream come true. And whenever that time comes, I'll definitely be emotional with my family.
For
That's
sure.
awesome. So Improbable Media comes to you and they say, okay, we're gonna launch this docu-series LANK, and it's not only just gonna like follow you and go through your journey of the season, but you're gonna talk to coaches and you're gonna talk to players. You seem ultimately focused and regimented. We've seen the QB series from Netflix and NFL Films, and how that takes a lot of effort. And there's gonna be a bad day when you gotta come in and you still gotta be Jalen Milroe for the docuseries and for the camera. Have you thought about how having that camera crew from Improbable Media follow you around and have you do work outside of football can be impacted by the ups and downs of a season?
No, absolutely. I think you gotta keep the main thing when it comes to a season. What the ultimate goal is, which is to go 1-0 at the end of that week, which is that Saturday, go 1-0. And nothing's gonna distract me from that moment. All of this is just put on display nothing but positive. Nothing negative is gonna come from my focus or anything that is coming from that lighting. But, through everything, you gotta keep your head up high, through the ups and downs. When I lost, I'm still the same person in the post-game interview. That's gonna be at the same interview. Let's keep my head high. I'm gonna answer every single question I can for the best of my ability, no matter if I win or lose. I'm gonna keep my head up high. And so I say that just, it correlates to just the series, and it just showing a journey, because we talk about LANK, it's naysayers in this world, like that doubt your story, man. It's true. Like it's someone down the line that doubted all of us in this room, but you got to keep your head up high. You know? And that's how I feel.
Yeah, my people always tell me, man, it's black people and there's naysayers. Like it's like, it's like, hey, Chan, it's a difference between them. It's a difference, Chan, tell me, hey, it's a difference, Chan. Hey, but my last question before they wrap it is this. Nick Saban is a legendary head coach.
Yeah.
Not just a great head coach, not excellent, he's legendary. To me, he's the greatest college coach that's ever lived. Now, Kalen DeBoyer comes here, and Alabama fans hate me, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, dog. I celebrated when Nick left. If Kendrick had released his song then, I'd have been crip walking on First Take. I was so dang happy. But tell me a little bit about the difference in the coaches and why Kalen DeBoyer can be successful with the 2024 University of Alabama Crimson Tide.
They're both unique in their own way. We all acknowledge that. We all see that as players. They're all unique in their own way. Definitely appreciative of Coach Saban. He definitely has showed what the standard looks like as a coach, and forever appreciative to be his quarterback. But now transition to Coach DeBoer. One thing that I reflect on is when he first came to campus, and he had a team meeting, and from the team meeting, he called up the leadership council group and the captains at the time. He pulled us after the team meeting, he sits us down, he pulls out a notebook, puts it on the desk. We all sitting in front of him. He asks, what is the standard here? What are some things that are implemented into this program that y'all would want, don't want? What are some things that, you feel as though it's so important to this program? What I took from that is he acknowledges the Bama excellence. He acknowledges what he took as far as the hiring. He acknowledges the thought process, the process that it goes to wearing a scripted A. And that changed my approach, my mindset, and just my determination to have his back because he had our back, because he was truly interested about the player, right? You hear about the player-led group. You hear about, everyone has a voice. No, I truly feel as though we have a voice in the sense of always being respectful and, acknowledging that he's coach, that he sets the bar of our team. He's our leader of our team, but he allows us to communicate with him. And he allows us to have a voice in a sense of freeness, in a sense. So, of course, you can scheme up X's and O's, that's what makes each coach unique. But I don't think what makes him special. I think what makes him special is that how much he cares about his players, how much he's all about relationship, and how he demands excellence out of all the players. You can do it in a different, unique way. Coach Saban did the same thing, but it's the way he does it, right? A coach's job is demand and critique and get the best out of that player. But what we also miss is the positive reinforcement behind it. And that's something that's, motivating as a player, is having that aspect of it too, is that I know my coach wants the best out of me, but he understands that I'm gonna do everything I need to on that play that I feel as though is best. I think that's what makes him unique, and I'm just super excited to build with him and have a season with him.
I got Saban a lap dance.
No, he's dead. He dead serious.
Whoa, what?
He dead serious, bro.
I did.
Hey, Miss Terry, don't hear that, man.
He ran off. He was scared. My rookie show, my rookie year, I brought in an exotic dancer to give Saban a lap dance to tell him thank you for drafting me.
It's all right, man.
Think about that. I want to tell you this too. Whenever you're ready to enjoy life, call Uncle Chan.
Say less.
Because you locked in right now. But when it's all said and done, man, I got you, brother.
Just a phone call away.
Don't call, text. Don't call and text.
You know what I'm saying? We got iPhone, we can FaceTime. Hey,
appreciate you.
Hey, man.
Appreciate y'all. Oh, no, hey, what's gonna happen with Georgia though? It used to be Alabama was the gold standard. Now.
Respect all, fear none. I don't fear no man.
That's about right.
I don't fear no man.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision, I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission.